Hey everyone! Welcome back to the channel. If you love coin collecting or enjoy hunting for rare coins in your pocket change, you're in the right place. Today, we're counting down the top 5 rare Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel coins you should always look for. Coins with special mint marks, valuable errors, and conditions that can make a huge difference in price. So grab your nickels, get comfortable, and let's get started. First up, the Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel from 1943, featuring the P mint mark and found in a black, heavily circulated condition. This wartime nickel is a special coin with a story that stretches back over 80 years, and in today's video, we're going to explore every detail that makes it unique and collectible. The 1943 Jefferson nickel is not just an ordinary 5-cent coin. It is part of the famous wartime silver nickel series minted between 1942 and 1945. During this time, the United States needed nickel metal for the war effort, so the mint changed the coin's composition, replacing nickel with an alloy of silver, copper, and manganese. That makes every wartime nickel a special piece of American history. The coin we're discussing today carries the P mint mark above Monticello on the reverse. This is significant because 1943 was one of the earliest years where the Philadelphia Mint placed its mint mark on the coin. Normally, the P mint mark was not used on nickels before wartime production began. Before we get into the details, let's talk about the appearance of this particular coin. It's in black circulated condition, which means it has seen heavy use over many years. The dark toning and wear give it a rugged look, showing that it passed through countless hands and lived a long life in everyday commerce. Even in circulated and darkened condition, the coin still holds incredible historical value. Collectors often appreciate wartime nickels for their unique composition and their connection to World War II, making them stand out from ordinary Jefferson nickels minted before and after this period. Taking a look at the obverse, you'll find the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson designed by Felix Schlag. On heavily circulated coins like this one, the details of Jefferson's hair, cheek, and jawline may appear soft or worn, but the overall design remains recognizable and iconic. In black circulated condition, the fields of the coin, the smooth background areas, often lose their luster and may appear rough or darkened. This is natural for a coin that's been used for decades, especially one minted more than 80 years ago. Turning the coin over, the reverse side features Jefferson's famous home, Monticello. Wartime nickels often show more surface wear than modern coins, and on this example, you may notice flattening on the steps, roofline, and pillars due to long circulation. The 1943 P wartime nickel is made of 35% silver, meaning that even circulated examples carry intrinsic silver value. This silver content is one reason collectors continue to seek out these nickels, regardless of condition. One of the identifying markers of wartime nickels is the large mint mark above Monticello. On this coin, the P mint mark may appear dark or slightly worn, but it still stands out clearly due to its size and raised design. Collectors often look for signs of major damage, corrosion, or cleaning on circulated coins. A black wartime nickel usually has natural toning from age, which is preferable to harshly cleaned or polished surfaces that can reduce collectible appeal. Even though this coin is circulated and darkened, it still represents a key date in the wartime nickel series. Many collectors attempt to build full wartime sets, and the 1943 P nickel is an essential part of that collection. This coin also carries educational value. It helps tell the story of how the United States adapted during wartime, using creativity to conserve essential materials while still keeping currency in the hands of the people. For new collectors, wartime nickels offer an affordable entry point into U.S. coin collecting. Even circulated examples like the one we're looking at today can be the foundation of a meaningful and interesting collection. In addition to historical value, these coins also attract metal collectors who appreciate the silver content. Even worn silver nickels maintain a baseline value because of the silver they contain. Experienced collectors also enjoy searching wartime nickels for potential errors. Some well-known errors include double die varieties, repunched mint marks, and striking anomalies. Although this particular coin is heavily circulated, error collectors still examine all details carefully. The dark tone of this coin gives it a distinct appearance that some collectors actually find appealing. Natural toning can add character and originality, making the coin feel more authentic and untouched by modern cleaning attempts. When holding a coin like this, you're not just looking at a piece of metal. You're holding a piece of American history that survived a world war, decades of circulation, and generations of change. Although condition greatly affects market value, The historical significance of this coin goes beyond numbers. Even circulated coins tell powerful stories about the era in which they were made and the people who used them. Wartime nickels also remind us of the sacrifices made during World War II, not only by soldiers but by everyday Americans who supported the war effort in small ways, including changes in the coins they used daily. Finding a 1943p nickel in any condition is always a great moment for collectors. The fact that this one shows heavy circulation just means it lived a long and active life before ending up in your collection. For those who enjoy coin roll hunting, wartime nickels like this one are still occasionally found in circulation today. Their silver content makes them a valuable find for anyone searching through old rolls or inherited coin jars. If you have a wartime nickel in black circulated condition like this, it's still worth keeping and appreciating. These coins are not rare, but they are iconic, historically important, and always interesting to collectors. Before we wrap up today's video, remember that every coin has a story, and the 1943p wartime nickel is one of the most meaningful designs in the entire Jefferson nickel series. Its silver composition and wartime purpose make it a standout coin in American history. Next up, the Monticello 5-cent Jefferson nickel from 1944 with the P mint mark, found in a black, circulated condition. This coin is more than just a simple nickel. It's a piece of American history that carries a story from the World War II era. The 1944 Jefferson nickel is part of the wartime silver nickel series produced between 1942 and 1945. During this time, nickel metal was essential for America's war supplies, especially for armor plating, so the U.S. Mint replaced nickel with a special alloy made of copper, silver, and manganese. This change created one of the most interesting and collectible coin series in U.S. history. The coin we're exploring today features the P mint mark from the Philadelphia Mint. In wartime years, the mint marks on Jefferson nickels were placed above Monticello on the reverse side, much larger and more prominent than on regular nickels. The bold mint mark helps collectors easily identify wartime silver nickels. This 1944p nickel is in black, circulated condition, which means it has spent decades in circulation and has developed dark toning from age, handling, and environmental exposure. The black color can develop naturally over time, especially with silver content in the coin, giving it a unique and aged look. Even with heavy circulation, the wartime silver nickels remain very popular among collectors. Their silver composition makes them valuable even when worn, and their wartime history gives them special significance that sets them apart from most other 5-cent coins. On the obverse side of the coin, we see the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson designed by Felix Schlag. In circulated condition, the details on Jefferson's face, hair, and collar may appear soft or faded, but the portrait remains recognizable and still carries that classic Jefferson nickel appearance. The lettering around the portrait, like "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1944, may show signs of wear on a circulated example. The dark tone of this coin can sometimes make the text appear even more subdued, but it also adds an old, historic charm that many collectors appreciate. Flipping the coin to the reverse, you'll find Monticello, Jefferson's iconic home. On a circulated coin, the intricate details of the building, such as the roofline, windows, and steps, often show flattening from long-term use. The dark toning gives Monticello a bold silhouette against the coin's surface. One of the defining features of wartime nickels is the large mint mark positioned directly above Monticello. On this coin, the P mint mark may appear slightly worn or darkened, but its large size ensures it remains easy to identify even in circulated condition. Because the 1944p nickel contains 35% silver, it holds intrinsic metal value. Even coins in heavily worn or darkened condition have a base value above their face value due to the silver they contain. This makes wartime nickels a great choice for both collectors and silver stackers. Collectors also enjoy examining wartime nickels for potential errors. Doubling on the date, mint mark varieties, and die cracks are some of the errors sometimes found on wartime series coins. While circulated coins may show where that hides some details, the search for errors still brings excitement to every wartime nickel. The black coloration on this coin is usually caused by oxidation and long-term handling. For many collectors, this natural toning is preferred over artificially cleaned coins. Original surfaces, even dark ones, show that the coin has remained untouched and authentic. Wartime nickels like this one remind us of how the nation adapted its currency during a challenging time. Changing coin compositions wasn't just a minting decision, It was part of a larger effort to support the war by saving important metals for military production. The 1944 P nickel is also a favorite for beginner collectors. It's affordable, historically significant, and easy to identify. Many new collectors start building their wartime nickel sets beginning with accessible dates like 1943 and 1944. In circulated condition, this coin may show scratches, dents, and dull surfaces, but these marks all tell a story. Every sign of wear represents hands that used this coin, pockets it passed through, and decades of movement through everyday American life. Wartime nickels served millions of Americans during the 1940s, buying food, gasoline, stamps, and essential goods. When you hold a 1944 nickel today, you're holding a tiny piece of life from that era, one that survived through war, change, and time. While pristine coins may attract high-end collectors, circulated examples like this one have their own charm. They feel more connected to real history and offer an affordable way for anyone to hold a physical piece of the World War II period. Even though this coin is heavily toned and worn, the important identifying features remain strong enough to appreciate its design. The date, Monticello, and the large wartime mint mark preserve its historical identity. The 1944 P nickel is an important part of U.S. coinage because it showcases how the mint responded creatively during difficult times. It stands among the few American coins ever made with a substantial silver content in a denomination as low as 5 cents. Collectors today continue to seek out these coins not only because of their silver content, but because they represent American resilience. They symbolize a time when every resource mattered and even coins were adjusted to help the nation. Holding a wartime nickel makes you wonder how many events the coin lived through, how many transactions it participated in during its early years, and how it eventually ended up in your collection after so many decades. The black circulated condition doesn't take away from its value as a historical artifact. Instead, it highlights the long journey the coin has taken over more than 80 years. The toning adds depth and personality to its appearance. If you find a 1944 P nickel like this in your collection or pocket change, it's always worth keeping. Not only does it contain silver, but it also carries meaning far beyond its face value. Every wartime nickel reminds us of the importance of history, design, and the human stories behind money. As we wrap up this video, remember that coins are more than collectibles, they are storytellers. This 1944 P wartime Jefferson nickel in black circulated condition is a powerful reminder of America's history and strength during World War II. Next up, the 1975 Jefferson Monticello 5 cents coin. This particular coin comes without a mint mark and shows the clear signs of a well-circulated life, giving it character and history worth exploring. The Jefferson nickel series has been part of United States coinage since 1938, making it one of the longest-running designs in American history. By 1975, this coin had already cemented its place as a familiar sight in everyday transactions across the nation. The absence of a mint mark on this coin tells us that it was produced at the Philadelphia Mint. Before 1980, the Philadelphia Mint typically did not place mint marks on Jefferson nickels, so a missing mint mark here is completely normal and authentic. In circulated condition, this 1975 nickel carries the marks, scratches, and surface where they come from decades of use. Each worn line reflects years of passing through hands, pockets, stores, and small purchases across the United States. On the obverse, we see the well-known portrait of Thomas Jefferson designed by Felix Schlag. The high points of Jefferson's hair and cheek often show the first signs of wear, and on a circulated coin like this, the details may appear soft or flattened. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust," and "Liberty," along with the date 1975 remain visible, though they may appear faint depending on how heavily the coin has circulated. This gentle fading is part of the charm of older circulated coins. Turning the coin over, the reverse features Jefferson's home, Monticello, one of the most iconic buildings in U.S. coin design. Years of wear may soften the steps, windows, and roofline, but the essential structure still stands clear. Circulated nickels often develop color changes from exposure to moisture, oils from fingers, and natural oxidation. This 1975 nickel may show a mix of gray, dull silver, or darker tones, adding uniqueness to its appearance. Collectors often appreciate circulated coins for their authenticity. They may not shine like mint-state examples, but they tell a story of real use and real history, something that untouched coins can never offer. The metal composition of the 1975 Jefferson nickel is 75% copper and 25% nickel. This combination gives it strength and durability, allowing it to survive decades of circulation while still keeping its design intact. This coin comes from a time before the U.S. Mint introduced major changes to nickel designs. The 1975 edition represents the classic era before any significant redesigns or commemorative series were introduced. While circulated coins like this usually do not carry high value, they remain important for collectors who are building year sets, studying die varieties, or simply preserving a piece of everyday American history. Some collectors look for errors in 1975 nickels, such as die cracks, off-center strikes, or doubling. While circulated coins may not show these errors as clearly, the possibility always adds excitement when examining a coin closely. This coin also represents a time when coins were used more heavily in daily life. Credit cards and digital payments were rare, so nickels like this played a much bigger role in everyday commerce. The circulated condition of this coin brings out small imperfections and surface marks that make each piece unique. No two circulated nickels look exactly the same, even from the same year and mint. For new collectors, circulated coins like this are perfect for learning about grading. They help you understand the differences between levels such as good, very good, fine, and very fine based on the visibility of the design details. Without a mint mark, some beginners might mistakenly think the coin is rare, but in reality, this feature simply identifies the Philadelphia Mint's production, which was extremely common in that era. Though heavily circulated, this coin preserves the spirit of the original design and offers a glimpse into the mid-1970s, an era of cultural change, economic challenges, and everyday American life. The Jefferson nickel series has always been valued for its simplicity and historical significance. Holding a 1975 example helps remind us of how much history a small coin can carry. The color and wear of this circulated example give it a vintage look that appeals to many collectors. The aged surface makes it feel like a true artifact, not just a piece of metal from pocket change. Even though it may not be a rare coin, it remains meaningful for hobbyists who enjoy collecting every year of production or documenting how designs age over time through circulation. Coins like this one show how American currency has remained durable, recognizable, and functional across many generations, even through years of consistent use. Monticello on the reverse remains one of the most iconic buildings on U.S. coinage. Even in worn condition, it stands as a tribute to Thomas Jefferson's legacy and architectural influence. This coin reflects over 4 decades of circulation, carrying stories from the hands that used it, stories we may never know, but can still appreciate as part of the coin's journey. Next up, Jefferson Monticello 5 cents coin from 1946, a classic post-World War II nickel that comes without a mint mark and shows the natural signs of long-term circulation. The year 1946 was an important one in U.S. coinage history because it marked the end of the wartime silver nickel series. From 1942 to 1945, nickel coins contained 35% silver, but in 1946 the United States returned to the regular copper-nickel alloy, and the mint marks were moved back to their traditional location. This 1946 nickel has no mint mark, which tells us it was minted in Philadelphia. During this time, Philadelphia did not place mint marks on Jefferson nickels unless they were wartime silver issues. So a missing mint mark on this coin is perfectly normal. Being nearly 8 decades old, this 1946 nickel has spent many years circulating through everyday transactions, and its circulated condition reflects the long journey it has taken across pockets, cash registers, and hands throughout America. On the obverse side, we see the familiar portrait of Thomas Jefferson created by sculptor Felix Schlag. In circulated condition, you will notice wear on the high areas of Jefferson's cheekbones, hair, and jawline, softening the finer details of the design. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1946 may appear faded or lightly worn on a heavily circulated example. These worn elements give the coin a vintage appearance that collectors find charming. Turning the coin over, the reverse shows Monticello, Jefferson's historic home. Over time, the steps, windows, and roofline often become smooth from circulation, but the overall shape of the building still remains recognizable and iconic. Circulated examples like this often develop darker or uneven toning due to oxidation, environmental exposure, and the natural aging process of copper-nickel alloys. The color variations make each circulated nickel unique in appearance. Collectors enjoy coins like this because they show real history. Every scratch, mark, and patch of toning represents part of the coin's life story, something that pristine, untouched coins don't reflect in the same way. The metal composition of this 1946 nickel is the traditional 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy, which was restored after the wartime silver years. This alloy is durable and capable of withstanding decades of circulation without losing its core design. The 1946 nickel marks an important transitional moment in U.S. currency, representing the return to normal economic conditions after the end of World War II. Holding a coin from this year feels like holding a small piece of post-war American history. Circulated coins are excellent for beginner collectors because they are inexpensive, easy to find, and great for learning about grading standards based on wear patterns and remaining design details. While circulated 1946 nickels typically hold modest monetary value, they remain meaningful for those collecting every year of Jefferson nickels or those who enjoy studying mid-20th century U.S. coin history. Some collectors search for errors in 1946 nickels, such as die cracks, doubling, or planchet flaws. Even though wear can make these harder to spot, circulated coins still hold the potential for hidden varieties. The wear on this coin tells a story of how widely it traveled during the decades when cash was used much more frequently than today. Coins from the 1940s often have rich histories simply because of how long they stayed in circulation. The circulated condition of this coin gives it a rugged, well-used appearance that many hobbyists find appealing, as it reflects authenticity and age instead of artificial shine. Monticello on the reverse side continues to stand proudly even in worn condition, representing Thomas Jefferson's legacy in architecture and American history. Coins from the mid-1940s carry a nostalgic charm, reminding collectors of an era of rebuilding, growth, and change in the United States after the global conflict finally ended. The absence of a mint mark may confuse new collectors, but it's an important historical detail. Philadelphia simply did not use mint marks on nickels in 1946, making this feature a natural part of the coin's identity. Collectors who enjoy 20th century U.S. coins often appreciate the 1946 nickel for its historical transition, classic design, and the fact that it was among the first peacetime nickels produced after the wartime silver series concluded. The worn surfaces, faded letters, and aged color all contribute to the vintage feel of this coin, making it a meaningful addition to any circulated coin collection. Even though it may not shine like a new coin, this 1946 Jefferson nickel carries decades of history, movement, and purpose, making it far more than just a 5-cent piece. This coin represents durability, surviving generations of handling and still retaining its recognizable design and identity after all these years. Next up, the 1969 Jefferson Monticello 5-cent coin with the S mint mark, found in very good condition. This is a coin that carries vintage charm and strong collectible appeal. The 1969 Jefferson nickel is part of the long-running series that began in 1938, making it one of the most familiar and recognizable coins in American history. By the time 1969 arrived, the coin had already been circulating for over 3 decades. The S mint mark on this coin tells us it was minted at the San Francisco Mint, a facility well known for producing lower mintages compared to Philadelphia and Denver. This gives the coin added interest among collectors. Being in very good condition, this 1969 nickel shows clear design details with moderate but even wear. It has survived more than half a century while maintaining strong visual appeal. On the obverse, we see the classic portrait of Thomas Jefferson designed by Felix Schlag. Even with light wear, the main features of Jefferson's face, hair, and clothing remain visible and well-defined. The inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the date 1969 stand clearly, showing only slight signs of softening from circulation. This sharpness is what helps categorize the coin as very good condition. The reverse side displays Monticello, Jefferson's historic Virginia home. The building's outline, dome, and architectural features remain identifiable even if the highest points show a touch of smoothing. In very good condition, the steps of Monticello may appear faint, but the structure still holds its original form and symmetry. This level of detail is attractive to collectors of circulated yet high-quality nickels. The S mint mark on the reverse sits neatly to the right of Monticello, and even with light wear, the letter remains clearly visible. Its presence helps distinguish this coin from the more common Philadelphia and Denver issues. The color of this coin may show natural aging tones, from soft silver gray to slightly darker areas. This natural patina adds character and authenticity to the piece without taking away from its overall eye appeal. The durability of the 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy used in this coin allowed it to survive decades of circulation while still holding on to much of its original design. This strength is part of what makes nickels from this era so collectible today. Collectors enjoy 1969 nickels because they come from a period when coins were used constantly in everyday life, long before digital payments changed the way money flowed through society. This coin also represents the classic era of Jefferson nickels before any major design updates were introduced. Its simplicity and historical relevance make it a great addition to any U.S. coin collection. Even in very good condition, each coin has its own personality. Small marks, toning, and tiny scratches tell the story of its journey through countless hands and transactions across decades. The San Francisco Mint in 1969 produced fewer nickels compared to the huge numbers struck in Philadelphia and Denver, making S-Mint nickels from this era slightly more appealing to hobbyists assembling mint mark sets. Collectors often seek well-preserved circulated examples like this because they offer the perfect middle ground, affordable, historical, and visually attractive at the same time. Coins from the 1960s hold a special place in the hobby because they connect modern collectors with an era of social change, economic growth, and shifting culture in America. This 1969 nickel reflects its time beautifully, showing both its age and its resilience through decades of circulation. Even today, the design remains strong and instantly recognizable. Very good condition coins like this one are great for teaching beginners how to distinguish grading levels. They show noticeable wear but keep all major elements clear and readable. Collectors who enjoy building year-by-year collections appreciate coins like this for completing their late 1960s sets, especially when paired with the D and no mint mark versions. The bold portrait of Jefferson and the historic Monticello home on the reverse continue to capture attention, even after more than 50 years of circulation. A 1969 S-nickel may not be rare, but its attractive condition and mint mark give it a special place in the collection of anyone who enjoys mid-20th century U.S. coins. This coin stands as a reminder of the everyday American history carried in small pieces of metal, history that passes quietly from hand to hand until eventually reaching collectors like us. Thank you for joining me today as we explored the 1969 Jefferson Monticello 5-cent coin with the S-Mint mark in very good condition. If you enjoy learning about classic U.S. coins, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow the channel for more coin stories and discoveries.